Welcome to the Bible Breakdown. It's a black man and woman in America who no longer identify as believers. This show contains adult languages, themes, and isn't meant for children. As black people, we respect the history of the black church in America, but its current state is massively abusive, and we think the Bible might be part of the problem. Listen and let us know what you think. Peace. And recording. Okay, go.
All right, so we're back again for chapter 7 of Genesis.
Do you want to do like a last time?
I was just gonna do that, but you cut me off.
That's so like me too. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Last time we learned about more reiterated stuff for like the last couple of chapters as far as the lineage of the family that extended from Adam and Eve, and that trickled down into Cain and Abel, Abel being killed by his brother and then their offspring. So anyway, Abel died and we learned about the lineage. Now we're going into Noah's bullshit. So yeah.
Nice.
Genesis 7. And the Lord said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Of course, every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens, the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by two, the male and his female. Of fowls also of the air by sevens, the male and the female, to keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth. For yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth. I'm not sure why he's doing. I mean, shit, we're well, in their time, I don't know, maybe they're 900 years in or 70 years in. I don't know. Their math is all fucked up. But basically, at this point, God is just like, he's not satisfied with the thing he created, which I don't know. I don't know why he waited. I don't know how he waited this long to just start over. Maybe he was invested too much.
I mean, well, considering these people didn't know this, but considering the fact that the universe is like billions of years old, like maybe, 900 years is like nothing. He's like, let me give him a chance. But it's like, oh, that's what I meant to bring up last time when God was going on the rant about destroying the earth and everybody on it. It kind of reminded me of it's like a spoilers for Prometheus, but like when they encounter like their seeder, the aliens that kind of seeded them and like they were just like, ew, and just wanted to destroy them.
Yeah. And I don't know. Maybe God's like that. I don't know. It took him a long time to get to this point, and I just feel like he should have just ended it from the moment that they ate the fucking apple that he told them don't eat, and then he wanted to play mind games like, did you eat it or something's different? Why do you feel like, what's wrong with you? And Adam said he was naked and he was ashamed, and I don't know. What I do know is it's taking him a really long time to get to this point. And why does he have to flood shit? I mean, if he created it out of nothing, can he just like make it disappear out of nothing? Like, why do people have to suffer for this to happen? Just snap your fucking finger, you fucking genie.
Well, I mean, in real life, matter can't be created or destroyed. So, the people writing this didn't know that. So they saw things, being born and dying and created, and they assumed everything was like that.
Okay, well, he's a universe genie, so I don't know. He created everything out of nothing. I don't know. Anyway, and verse 5, chapter 7. And Noah did according to all that the Lord commanded from him. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth. And Noah went in, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him into the ark because of the waters of the flood. of clean beasts and of beasts that are not clean, and of fowls, and of everything that creepeth upon the earth. There went into two and two unto Noah into the ark, the male and the female, as God had commanded Noah. And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. So basically, God said in 7 days, I'm going to flood this fucking planet, and you got that much time to get your shit together. Build this ark, let as many people as you can know, and then, yeah, it's over for you guys.
Okay,
And
so he built this in 7 days?
that's what I'm getting from this.
Huh.
He built the ark.
I'm sorry, I'm trying not to interrupt. That was just, I just wanted to make sure I was interpreting that correctly because this language is insane.
Well, hold on, because it says something next. So, and it came to pass, chapter 7, verse 10. And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. Okay, so now So, yeah, he built it in 7 days. What the fuck?
That's really impressive.
Noah, does he have
God magic? Yeah.
architect background? I mean, I don't know. Who builds ships? Are those still architects? Are those sea architects?
Those are pirates. Pirates build ships.
So, yeah.
I don't know.
So no skill to be able to do this, and yet he did this.
And that's a lot of material.
And the fact that he built it big enough to have every single animal inside of this vessel, and
3 stories, because God said he was very specific.
In 7 days. They didn't, so did they just not sleep?
I mean, his sons helped. Maybe he had like a kit.
Okay, so moving back, it says, because I need to know an estimate of how many people this was.
Well, it's his sons and their wives, right?
How many sons does he have?
Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
And their wives, so that's...
And I think, did it say Noah's wife?
People, so
did Noah have a wife? Did she get to go?
It says, and Noah went in, and his sons and his wife. So yeah, he had a wife.
Okay, cool.
So that's like 8 people. Because if you just named 3 people that were his sons, plus Noah, plus his wife, that's 5 people, plus their wives, that's another 3 people. So like it's 8 people. So 8 people did this? Okay.
Well, probably not the women. They're not good at math.
So 4 people did this.
No, I was just kidding. This is all a joke. Like, this is obviously a myth. But yeah, the problem with this is I was taught that this was literal, like this really literally happened.
There are a lot of people that feel like this is literal.
So, it's just kind of like, don't think about it. Santa Claus can get to all those houses in one night. Just go to sleep.
But even if this isn't literal, then what is the metaphorical?
You deserve to die in a flood because God's mad at you.
That's the metaphorical take from this?
Yeah, because he was killing a lot of people. A lot of them, I'm sure, were like babies.
Yeah, he's a serial killer.
Yeah.
All right, so verse 11, chapter 7. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. When the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. In the selfsame day entered Noah, and Shem, and Ham, and Japheth, and the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them into the ark. So like I said, 8 people. They and every beast after his kind, and all that cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing that creepeth on the earth after his kind. Shit. And every creeping thing that crept upon the earth after his kind. I lost my place. Where am I at? Oh, and every fowl after his kind, and every bird of every sort. And they went and they went in unto Noah into the ark, 2 and 2 of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. And they that went in male and female and all of flesh, as God had. What the fuck?
I know, wait, what? What's the breath of life?
Oh, I wasn't even saying what the fuck to that. I'm just saying, like, how many times are you going to tell me that everything is male and female? Like, I got it the first 2 or 3 times.
I think it's just so God knows that you should be mean to trans people.
Okay. And they went in, male and female.
No, can we talk on wherein is the breath of life? What is the breath of life?
I don't know, and I honestly don't care.
I mean, that's kind of a weird thing to just throw in there. I'm just saying, I can wait and talk about it later, though. We can finish this shit up.
I mean, you can Google it.
No! I'll Google it. I'm sorry. Keep reading.
Well, I mean, you said you wanted to talk about it. Anyway, and they went in male and female of all flesh, and God had commanded him, and the Lord had shut him in. And the Lord was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bare up the ark, and it was lifted up above the earth. And the waters prevailed, and they were increased greatly upon the earth, and the ark went upon the face of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high hills that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of fowl and of cattle and of beast, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man. All in those nostrils was the breath of life. Of all that was in the dry land died. And every living substance was destroyed, which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle, and the creeping things and the fowl of the heaven. And they were destroyed from the earth. And Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth, and 150 days.
Oh, thanks be to God.
Okay.
So this is showing how merciful the Lord is. Oh, wait, are we calling him God or the Lord in this one? Oh, both. Okay, so the Lord God is actually very merciful because he spared Noah and his family.
And he killed the rest of the world.
Yeah, so that's really showing love and mercy because, God was like, I just got to start all over, guys. Even though, once again, how many people on Earth now, that's not enough genetic material to make what do you got, 6 billion people? How many people on the planet? Let's say 6 billion. I'm going to pull that out of my ass.
7 billion people, but closer to 8 now.
I mean, we did have just a pandemic. Maybe the numbers went down.
We didn't lose 1 billion people, so.
Okay.
But
I'm counting. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of collateral even if you didn't directly die from.
We've lost 2,000 people in
But everyone lost 100,000 in the nation. But I guess we're leading most countries. Anyway, this is neither here nor there. My whole point was that these 8 people wouldn't have enough genetic diversity to populate a society.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, bullshit. So, I
think every living substance was destroyed upon the face. Well, can I talk real quickly about how a lot of ancient cultures have similar flood myths?
Sure.
I think any culture that survived a long time, you're going to see some extreme weather, and climate change isn't a new phenomenon. We have rapid climate change right now, but there's always been shifts in the Earth's climate, and some regions become unstable. I think India, they still get those real big monsoon seasons, these big rains. And for people who didn't know how big the Earth was, once again, they're not even, it doesn't sound like they're sure they don't know the Earth is round. So I think for them, for the people that this story came from, there must have been a flood sometime that felt like it covered the whole world and there was never going to be land again.
Maybe that is what happened. I don't know. I wasn't there.
Me neither. But I don't think this happened. Yeah. Once again, with the 7 days, building it in 7 days. I I
I'm
I
just.
would
I'm.
I
I'm
would
just.
challenge anyone with let's say he used the women like an 8-person team to make a canoe in 7 days that worked.
I'm just curious to understand where the if this is all like songs or just old wives' tales that were written down. Like
Did you
the fuck?
get your video?
Yeah, I can't. My video does not motion when I have the Bible app pulled up.
Got you. Okay.
So anyway, as I was saying, I don't know why. What I just want to know what happened to the person that was like, I don't know what happened to the person that like knew that was like this was just old tales, or like what happened to that person. I mean, obviously they're dead, but did they just forget to tell people like, oh yeah, this is just like, stuff we kept to
Well,
keep
once
ourselves
again,
entertained?
it becomes a legend. Like it's been told over and over again. I'm sure it's changed from the person who originally told it, and once again, like we said before, it was probably a collection of people, not just one guy. And but it seems to me that
Legend has grown so much that people have people died over this fucking book.
yeah, it's like how dare you tell me this is it's like, but yeah, I'm ready to read the next chapter. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 8. And God remembered Noah and every living thing and all the cattle that was with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters assuaged. The fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained, and the water returned from off the earth continually. And after the end of the 150 days, the waters were abated, and the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, were the tops of the mountain seen. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made. This almost sounds like a word problem. There's so much like, and then it was 40 days, and then it was so many numbers. And he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. Also, he sent forth a dove from him to see if the waters were abated from off the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned unto him into the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. Then he put forth his hand and took her and pulled her in unto him into the ark. That's too many prepositions. You just say, and pulled her into the ark. And he stayed yet another 7 days. And again he set forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came in to him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was a olive leaf plucked off. So no one knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. Once again, this is the only female who's done anything in the story. And he stayed yet another 7 days, and sent forth the dove, which returned not again unto him any more. And it came to pass in the 601st year, in the 1st month, the first day of the month. This must sound really good in Hebrew, because it just doesn't sound. The waters were dried up off the And, and Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. And in the second month, on the 7th and 20th day of the month, was the earth dried. That was fast. And God spake unto Noah, saying, Go forth of the ark, thou and thy wife, and thy sons wives with thee. Bring forth with thee every living thing that is with thee of all flesh, both of fowl and of cattle, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, that they may breed abundantly in the earth, and be fruitful and multiply upon the earth. And Noah went forth, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him, every beast, every creeping thing, and every fowl. Oh, I lost my place. And whatsoever creepeth upon the earth after their kinds went forth out of the ark. And Noah built an altar unto the Lord, and took of every beast, of every clean beast, not those dirty ones, and took of every clean beast and of every clean fowl, and offered burnt offerings unto the altar. So just to be clear, like, they just survived this trauma, and then he just murdered one of everyone on the altar. So I hope they had a barbecue. And so weird. And the Lord smelled the sweet savor, and the Lord said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground any more for man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. What? Neither will I again smite any more every living thing, as I have done, while the earth remaineth, seed time and harvest, and cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. Thanks be to God. That's over.
Okay, so first of all,
wait, so this, I'm sorry, before I promise, I know I just talked a long time, but am I crazy? Does it sound crazy when, like, okay, so Noah kills a bunch of animals for God, and then God smells it, and God's like, "Aw, I will not again curse the ground anymore for man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will again." It's like, so he's just saying, "I'm not going to kill him again because they're just evil. So they're just going to be evil." Is that what it is? So I'm not even going to try punishing him anymore because it won't do any good.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't understand why. I don't understand why he flooded the earth just to say I'm never going to do that again. It was almost like, you know what? Maybe I was too extreme by doing that, so I'm just never going to do it again. Which is just like,
and it was the burn. I mean, why couldn't they have just burned some animals before the flood? If that's all it took to calm God down.
Just like,
I'm noticing a theme, because that's what he was mad at Cain about. Like, you didn't kill any animals for me. You with your bullshit vegetables and your kale. I hate you. And there's no respect here. You didn't murder a living thing.
Yeah, that's yeah. I don't know. He seems like a murdering psychopathic bully.
Also, too, for all the words that were in this, very little happened. Like,
I mean, that's literally every fucking chapter. As long as these fucking chapters are like, not a lot happened. That's why I was like, for me to have gone to Catholic school for 12 years and only, like, we're as thick as the fucking King James version is. I'm like, we're halfway through all the stories that I feel like I know I'm exaggerating, but I feel like all the stories that you ever hear, I feel like, God, we've just nailed like a few of those. right in the first opening chapter.
Well, because they usually, a lot of, when you're younger, your introduction is like the children's Bible. Like, did you ever have like the children's illustrated Bible?
Yes.
You've probably seen it. Yeah. And so they don't get into very many stories in the Bible because a lot of them are like great. We're going to get there. But like, you can't tell this kind of stuff to children. Like, there's a lot of stuff about cutting up whores.
But I'm saying, like, if the chapters. Okay, so the first chapter and a half was like Adam and Eve. Then the third, fourth chapter was like their lineage, or was Cain and Abel, and then like their lineage and all that type of shit. Then now we're like getting on Noah and shit like that. So then I know David and Goliath's coming up. Sodom and Gomorrah.
No, that's going to be a while. Now, Sodom and Gomorrah.
I know. I just
sorry.
Bear with me.
Sorry.
I know that's coming up. I know Sodom and Gomorrah is coming up. I'm saying, like, each of these stories is only a few pages. So I feel like there's got to be shit in here that I've never even heard.
Yeah, a lot of it is temple decoration.
Okay.
Seriously. We'll get there. And like real specific instructions on what kind of animals are atone for what sins.
Point is, for as long as these chapters are, or not as long as these chapters are, they have so many words, but not a lot happens. Like, I feel like every single thing in here could be summed up in like probably half of its chapter.
If not less. Like, I mean, we could sum this up pretty quick. Like, God sent a flood. Noah sent some birds out to see if the land was dry. I don't know why God couldn't just tell him. He told him everything else. He told him,
that's another thing I want to point out. God's an asshole. Like, why the fuck would you like flood the earth? Give me you gave me a 7-day heads up. So fuck you for
so
that.
you know the timeline.
Then on top of that, like, not only do I have to build this thing in 7 days, but then after you flood the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, which means I'm on this thing for a month and a half. Okay, fine. But then on top of that, like, you don't even recede the waters right away. So, like, I still am waiting. So, like, you're an asshole. You're an asshole.
I mean, I feel like there's just more efficient ways to wipe everything out, especially like the animals. Like, he didn't say, like, what did the animals do? Like, I know he's mad because people, like, their hearts are continually filled with evil, but I mean, okay, that you obviously put there, you could have like not put evil in there. I try never to put evil in the stuff that I make. I found it to be counterproductive.
Okay, moving on. Genesis 9. And God blessed Noah and his sons and said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, upon every fowl of the earth, upon all that moveth upon the earth, and upon all the fishes of the sea. Into your hand are they delivered. Every single thing that liveth shall be meat for you. Even as the green herb have I given you all things.
Talking about weed.
Okay.
I made that up. I
know. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall ye not eat. And surely your blood of your lives, which will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it. Okay, man. Like, there's no fucking difference between this God and the God of fucking sun and the God of fucking like this God is just like, he just wants you to kill shit and like.
Oh, you talking about the Aztec God?
Yeah, like, he just wants you to kill shit and give him an offering. Like, that's literally all he's saying right now.
I liked in The Road to El Dorado. Do you remember that cartoon movie? Like, probably because that chick is so thick.
Yeah, Rosie Perez is amazing.
That was so porny. But anyway, like the Aztec priest who was like trying to kill everybody all the time. When he asked, like, he was like, oh, do you know why the gods, want, all these blood, because these sacrifices is because gods can't bleed. And it's like, so that's when he figured out the European dudes
Yeah,
weren't really God.
which is the dumbest fucking shit ever. But
I mean,
whatever.
that just reminds me of that, man. These bloodthirsty gods, or maybe it was like in Batman versus Superman, your favorite movie, where
It's
he's like,
definitely not. But
he's like, "Do you bleed?"
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like this god is like into some weird shit. But anyway,
But I mean, people want to see blood, like
I
it
mean,
does
yeah, that's fine.
something.
Like, there's nothing wrong with a little physical contact. But I'm just saying, like, you just murdered the whole world minus 8 people. That's a bit extreme, especially
But wait,
for.
this is a weird sentence too. Surely your blood of your lives I will require. What? Are
He's
you?
foreshadowing to the fact that he's gonna make that guy down there sacrifice his kid and shit like that.
And please, oh, we're gonna get to a point too where a guy does sacrifice his kid. Like there's the famous
Yeah,
one where Abraham doesn't kill Isaac, but then there's another one where a guy like totally kills his daughter.
yeah, he's an asshole.
But
But
it's
anyway,
not a big deal because it's just a daughter. So, the real sad part was that she was dying before she could give him grandsons.
and surely your blood of your lives will I require it. At the end of every beast will I require it. At the end,
Wait, did something happen to your audio?
no,
Okay, sorry. You sound like
and
further away.
the same amount of proximity away.
Okay, go.
And surely your blood of your lives will I require it. At the hand of every beast will I require it, and at the hand of man. At the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. What?
He needs the blood of your lives. He needs the blood of the animals. He needs, and it has to be killed by a man. And he's saying like basically, I need tribute. Like I need meat tribute from everybody. So
He just sounds.
run that cattle.
He just. I just feel like he's just running a racket.
I think so. Yeah. It just so
Like he's
happens.
basically like telling people, if you don't pay me protection, this is what's going to happen.
I mean, y'all just saw everything get flooded.
Oh my god.
It's like
Okay.
show your daddy you love him, man. You got to bring that money home.
Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God made he man. And you be fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth and multiply therein. And God spake unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying, And I behold, I establish my convenient covenant with you, and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, from all that go out of the dark to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of flood, neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, There is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bowl in the cloud. Oh my God. And it shall be for a token of covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass when I bring a cloud over the earth. And this is where we get the thinking that fucking angels in heaven is in the goddamn sky. And the bowl shall be seen in the cloud. And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the water shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh. And the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, and I will remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, This is the token of the covenant, which I've established between me and all the flesh that is upon the earth.
So
And
before this, there were no rainbows?
What?
Because he's talking about rainbows, right?
Yes, I don't know. I'll just keep thinking about how he's talking about he's putting everything in the cloud, and then he's eating, and then that just makes me think everybody thinks you go to heaven in the fucking the sky when you're a kid, and then you realize when you're an adult, like there's nothing up there, but
Oh yeah, it's just water vapor.
yeah, then you get into space.
Yeah.
Okay. And the sons of Noah, and God said unto Noah, this is the token of the covenant which I've established
Wait a
between me
minute.
and all.
Hold on. Your audio just got weird. I don't know.
And God
Whoa, whoa,
said,
whoa, 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 whoa! Don't hit it too hard. Like there's, I'm seriously getting into distortion. So maybe just talk a little, maybe a little slower.
and God said unto Noah, this is the token of the covenant which I've established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth, and Ham is the father of Canaan. Those are the three sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. And Noah began to be an husbandman, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank off the wine and was drunken. So he was an alcoholic after he built the ark, whereas in the movies they make him an alcoholic before that.
I refuse to see that movie. I am so tired of them showing like these people who are sadly in the Middle East and Africa as being Europeans. It's like, stop it.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna watch that movie. But I mean, even before that movie was made, people of the church try to argue that God uses people who are drunks and thieves and shit to do his bidding.
Like
But
a mafia boss.
I mean, again, he's getting people to pay protection. So yeah, he's basically a mob boss.
Okay.
And he drank off the wine and was drunken, and he was covered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. And like,
I feel like most people see their dads naked. Did you ever see your dad naked?
not completely, but my whole point is like, this has nothing to do with the story. Like, this is okay. Anyway,
I mean, I think it's pretty important that we know that after a flood, you shouldn't see your dad's dong.
and Noah awoke from his wine and knew that his younger son had done unto him. So he knew that his son basically covered him up. Who gives a fuck? And he said, Cursed be Canaan. A servant of servants shall be unto his brethren. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Okay. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. And all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. This is the most bullshit. Oh my God.
So another fun fact, this is also where some people or some denominations try to insert that this is sort of where God cursed Ham and Canaan and basically made them black. Like, this is how we're getting black people again. And that's why we're meant to be servants because of this. So we should always be serving the non-cursed.
I can only go off what the text says, and the text has said nothing about that. So
I
fuck
know. I don't. Listen, I think all of this is mythology and shouldn't be given a lot of credence. Just saying. Just saying. That's how it's sometimes taught. Because a lot of this, like you said, a lot of this stuff we don't really get. Like, they're just like, and that means you should never, think evil thoughts or do butt stuff. It's like, okay.
Yeah, doesn't say that in there, so I'm not gonna go off that.
I don't think there's anything. That's just a fun fact.
Okay. Well, that is the end of chapter 9.
All right. Noah died. That's something. Quite the arc.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a lot of shit that was just really, really, really unnecessary.
Well, I think it's these next 3 chapters are still kind of securing for me that this is not a book that was very inclusive to women. Once again, there were no women. Did they give any of the women's names in any point, or were they just somebody's wife?
No.
And the only woman who did anything was the dove, well, female. Like they did gender the dove, and apparently that was a girl, and she was kind of useful, but then, you know, she was mostly a prop.
This is a really terrible story.
It's not great. I'm thinking about drowning babies, like taking their last gasp of air as they.
This is a long story. Like, we're only on 9. Genesis has fucking 50 chapters. Jesus.
A lot of it is
A lot of it is just filler.
What do you hit that word count? Oh yeah, we're in for a treat. Chapter 10, just a little to entice you guys to come back. The whole chapter is just lineages. All 32 verses, just beget, beget, beget.
Okay.
And I bet it's just all dudes, which is a very inaccurate way to track genealogies because there was no DNA.
This is people have died for this book.
Yeah. You know, literacy is a fairly recent phenomenon too, though. You know, throughout most of the history of the Bible, most people were like, should we do a real quick timeline of the Bible real quick? Do you have time for a timeline?
I'm sure.
Well, it's not going to be scientific. I'll maybe try to do a good one, but basically, like right now, at least I'll go with what I was taught, and I'll get citations later. But I was taught that the Earth was approximately 6,000 years old. So these stories are supposed to go back 6,000 years. I think they started getting written down maybe 2,000, 3,000 years before the birth of who we're going to call Christ. And then there's been about 2,000 years, like we're in the year 2020 right now, after the birth of Christ. So this is it's pretty old. It's come a long way, but I don't know, man. It's not great.
Yeah, a lot of filler.
A lot of filler. You know what I started reading today? The Art of War. Well, not start. I've read it before, but I got in like sort of one that uses like infographics. It was really cool, like the visual art of war. And much better book. A lot more useful advice, more succinct. Definitely not as bloodthirsty, even though it's about war. A lot of it's about like, yeah, you really shouldn't attack unless you're sure you can win, strategies, all that good stuff. This is I mean,
yes, just 12 years of Catholic school.
Well, and I will say it's impressive they were able to keep this going for so long. Like,
because people are stupid. And also, I mean, you know.
Oh, that was my point about literacy. Like during the most of the time that the Bible's been a thing, most people couldn't read. Like everybody was just getting the stories from whoever the preacher or the priest was telling them the stories. And then you had like paintings and pictures. But like, unless you were like really rich or like basically that was it, you don't know how to read. And there weren't like a ton of copies. So it wasn't until I don't know. When would you say like literacy started becoming like the standard for education? Because a lot of people like never
No
really learned.
idea. Maybe like the 1800s, but I do know when you just kill people and tell them, "Hey, you're gonna subscribe to this book." I mean, yeah, that kind of also creates the phenomenon that has allowed this to last so long. So,
Yeah, being tortured into a belief system is pretty ironclad because you don't really have a choice. It's kind of like you can either believe this or we're going to set you on fire. You want to get set on fire?
yeah. So, I mean, and now all those people who would have been converted.
Oh. Okay, well, because it sounds like we're doing like a 3-chapter a record format. So like the next thing, and it sucks too because then it's going to be my turn. I have to read the lineages. That's super boring. But you get to read the Tower of Babel. Remember that one?
Yeah, when God made everybody talk different languages, whoop do you fucking do?
Well, because cooperation is bad, don't you know?
Because they tried to build a fucking tower to him. Oh my god.
I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but yeah, that entice everybody to come back and get some of this juicy Bible.
This is a terrible book, but
well, let's try to be objective. What's been your favorite part so far?
Just actually going through the process, no matter how boring, so I can finally just be like, anybody who tries to talk to me about this, I'm now just gonna say, get the fuck out of my face.
I meant literally, like what we've read so far. What has been your favorite part?
Nothing.
Could you say that again? Your audio went out.
Nothing.
Oh, you're saying nothing. Nothing has been your favorite part.
No, I've not really enjoyed this process at all, and
I enjoyed the imagery of watching 2 naked people walk around a garden. Oh, it's hot.
Sure. Okay.
And then whenever you see like a naked lady with a snake, that has certain connotations. So that's kind of hot.
I guess, I don't know, not really something that I'm interested in.
Sure. All right. Well, I'm proud of us. We've hung in there. We've got so far to go.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to record a lot, because this will take a while. But it's interesting. And a lot of times I'm learning some new things. Like I didn't realize with the Noah story that he wanted 7 of the clean animals. Like, because we always think he wanted 2 of every animal, but he's like, no, we need 7 of the clean animals.
I just don't understand how anybody who is a reasonable human being could objectively sit down and read this fucking book and think that this shit really happened.
Can I ask you a question? How many reasonable human beings do you know?
I would have to reevaluate that now based upon this information. Okay.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go because this is going to take forever to render.
All right.
All right, bye.